What is your real income per hour? Most people have no clue, and I'm talking about people with a career. If you work in a low paying job, often you get like an hourly wage. But what is actually your real income if you are on a permanent contract? And even if you are on an hourly rate, is that your real income or not? For this exercise, it's going to be practical, and I want you to get your workbook, or I will explain it in detail as well, so you can just get a piece of paper and follow the steps as we go along. There's not much room for theory here, it's practical, and frankly, it can hurt a little bit after you're done with this exercise because it's also a bit of a reality check. So here's the first thing. The first line is to write down your gross salary per annum before tax. So it can be £20,000 a year, or £40,000 a year, or $100,000 a year. Whatever it is, your first line is your gross salary before tax a year. The second line that you're going to write, or you can follow along in the workbook, is your net salary after tax and pensions. How much is it? So in this example, I'm using one of my previous jobs, and the first line was my gross salary before tax was £60,000 a year. The second line, my net salary after tax and pensions, is £42,900 a year. If you're unsure, you can look at your salary slip, or you can simply Google gross salary 60,000 or whatever your salary is, and there's many income tax calculators that show you the net salary after tax. Step number 3 is your monthly net payslip after tax. For this, you can simply divide step number 2 by 12, or even better, for an accurate number, just look at your bank statement. How much was your last monthly payslip that you received in the bank? So we have your gross salary, your net salary, and your monthly net payslip as the first 3 steps. The fourth step is to write down how much you spend on your work a month. This can be your clothing, your shirt, your tie, laundry, dry cleaning, transport, public transport, taxi, car, vehicle, gas, whatever it is, education, like degrees or courses that you take for your work, other work stuff, and add them all up. So for me, when I did this exercise, it's about £400 a month. The next line, number 5, is your net monthly salary after your work expenses. So this is the amount of money that you receive every month in your bank, your net payslip, minus your monthly work expenses. So in this case, for me, my monthly net payslip after tax was $3,400. I have $400 a month in expenses, so my net monthly salary after work expenses is £3,000. 3,400 minus 400 is £3,000. The next question that you're going to answer is how many hours do you spend on your job a week? Now, for most people in a contract, it says 35 hours or 40 hours. So that's the first thing that you start with. But here are the other hours that you spend on your work. The commute. So if you drive an hour back and forth, that's like 2 hours a day. That's 10 hours a week. So add it up. Another thing can be getting ready for work, because on the weekends you're not getting ready and you don't have that extra time. It's really focused on becoming presentable for work. Like if I go to the office, I have to shower, I have to shave, I get myself ready. And that's at least another hour per day. So how much is it for you? If you have to do your makeup, maybe it's 2 or 3 hours a day. And that turns out to be how many hours a week? That's your next step. And the last item, I will urge you to write down a minimum of 10 hours. And this is called others. This can be your self-education, but even stress and recovery time. Like how many days you come home after work and you feel tired and you need to take a nap for a few hours. Or maybe on Saturday you want to do other things but you're sleeping in. This is indirect working time, working hours that otherwise you wouldn't have to spend because you would have the energy to do something else. I want you to add up all these hours. So your contract, your commute, getting ready for work, and other time. In my case, this turned out to be 70 hours a week. Now, for step number 7, we want to find out how many hours a month that turns out to. Now, for some of you, you get 4 weeks of annual leave a year. So what you can do is 52 weeks in a year minus the 4 weeks that you get in annual leave. But in my case, I like to use the 52 weeks a year because think about it, you only get that 1 week or that 4 weeks a year in holiday to chill out and to relax from work, to recharge your batteries. So in my opinion, this is actually part of your work. So to get to a monthly amount of hours, I urge you to just multiply it by 52 weeks a year, and then you divide it by 12 months a year. So in this case, I did 70 hours a week times 52 weeks divided by 12. But again, it's up to you if you want to, multiply by 50 weeks or 48 weeks, whatever works for you. Now, for the final step, we're going to calculate your hourly rate. And this is where it can get a little bit shocking. So we have 303 hours a month that I work, and I have £3,000 a month net after work expenses. So 3,000 divided by 303 hours is £9.90 an hour. If you're earning £9.90 an hour, are you happy with that rate? When I did this exercise, I felt like shit, I felt depressed. Like people, working in retail, they get paid 12, 13 pounds an hour. And I earn £60,000 a year. Like I only earn £9.90 per hour. When you did this exercise, how did it make you feel? Maybe you're really happy. Maybe you think, yes, I got 15 pounds an hour, 20 pounds an hour. Or maybe you got even more upset than me and you only get like 5 pounds an hour. But this is a wake-up call because we all want to be valued for what we bring to the table. And this exercise is supposed to push your buttons a little bit to find out like, what would you love your minimum hourly rate to be? So let's say, okay, I want to earn 20 pounds an hour. If you calculate it backwards, so before we did step 1 till 8, if we do 8 till step 1, how much salary do you need to earn to get that hourly rate? Now, there's a couple of things that you can do. Like the first thing that you can do to improve your rate is obviously to work fewer hours. And if you work on a lot of process improvement projects at your job, you can maybe do a job where there's a 35 hours a week contract. You can do it in 20 hours and you have 15 hours a week left to work on other stuff. Or maybe you can negotiate to work from home so you don't have to commute. Or you get ready for work a little bit quicker. Another thing you can do is obviously to reduce your monthly expenses. But in most cases, it's very hard to reduce unless, you go by car to work 5 days a week and now you can work from home full time. That's going to save a lot of money. But what are some things related to work that you can save on? Like, can you do your own laundry instead of dry cleaning? Can you get like free educational stuff rather than buying courses? There's quite a few things that you can do to actually reduce your costs. So there's not much homework apart from this if you did exercise with me. If not, make sure you watch this video again and do the exercise with me together because I want you to have a realistic check on your net hourly rate. And hopefully this will increase your inspiration and motivation as well to ask for pay rises and to apply for better jobs because no one wants to work for just 10 pounds an hour, right? So I hope this pushes your buttons a little bit, that it wakes you up and that it helps you to find some more reasons as to why you deserve to get pay rises.